Hello, I'm here to give an introduction, the flow diagram, the proof of concept about how to use LangChain large language model using either the open source one from Databricks, Dolly, or from OpenAI. And how do we process those articles from the market strategist from different investment banks, vectorize those information, send those data to the large language model to train, to learn, and then get the answers back, and use LangChain to chain those question and answer together as a conversation. So first, I'd like to go over what is this applications about. Some of us, or most of us, will ask a question, will US go into a recession in 2023? What are the market strategists' views for 2023 on the economic and market? Each individual major investment bank or retail bank or commercial bank, their market strategists will post their views online regularly, and including all the recent events. For example, the recent debt ceiling negotiation. They will post articles what the impact would be if the debt ceiling is not raised, or what would happen if the debt ceiling was raised. However, many of us don't read those postings, nor do we understand them. But with AIs, we as regular investor can have the AIs help us to summarize. Consider AI is a trained professional, investment professional. We need to feed these market strategies latest views based on the latest event in the market, latest economic data. Once we know their views, and we ask the AI to summarize those views and answer a specific question that we have. That's what this chatbot is for. I did a proof of concept for this chatbot. There are three major challenges to build this chatbot. I'm going to go over them as we go through the proof of concept code. First, what very important is how do we pass that large amount of article? The article can be thousands of lines long to a large language model to learn and help answer specific questions. LangChain vector database to correlate similarity between the query and the information on the article will help that. Second biggest challenge is how do we build a conversation between users and the chatbot. We need to chain those answer and question together. In the meantime, reduce the number of tokens that send to the LLM. LLM like OpenAI has a limitation about around 4,000 tokens. A token is a unique identifier for words in your sentences. If you exceed those tokens, you are not able to proceed with the conversation. So how do we build a conversation, chain those tokens together, and also make sure it can meet the 4,000 4K tokens limits? Thirdly, what if we just gather all the online articles? How can we tell the AI to answer the question if the views on the article that are different? So to build this chat AI to solve all these three major challenges, there are proposed flow diagram. First is data collection and preparation. Second is how to do the question and answers. Data collection and preparation, we get it from a news feed. We write a collector program. It can be either periodically polling the data or receiving the data from the newsfeed. And we generate that in a raw text file. We can use a distributed file system. And this is an object store, AWS, S3. And then we can have a JSON builder which is running on the Spark, which is one Databricks Spark cluster, we're able to generate into a JSON files and store back in the S3. And the other key part in here, as which will be done in the prototype, is embedding. Embedding is to generate a vector with many dimensions for the sentence, for the article that we collected from the internet. That can be used for similarity search. With the embedding and similarity search, we do not need to pass the whole articles or 1,000 articles to the LLM for them to learn what needed to be researched in order to answer your question. We can send only the related articles and knowledge close to your questions to the LLM to answer your question. And the information is stored in the vector DB. So this is a scalable solution by leveraging distributed object store, a Spark cluster to do EMR MapReduce, and using a database to persist all the embedded information. Once we have that database created, we're going to have the user going to query. We build an interface, an app service, which is running on Kubernetes. You're using LangChain to query the vector DB based on the question. For example, the question is, which asset class allocation should I increase for 2023? You will go find out all the related paragraph that the market shares articles related to potential this question, and then feed this information over as a context to the large language model, OpenAI or Dolly, which is from Databricks. And after they get the information over, you're going to send it back to the user. In this case, based on the POC, the answer is do not recommend change portfolio weight this year. So do not change your allocation, your portfolio for 2023. Okay, so those are the proposed flow for data collection and the proposed flow for the question and answer for the application. I did a proof of concept. I did not implement the cluster, the database, the app service running in the Kubernetes. It's simply just a notebook with some Python code. What it does is build a JSON files from the sample articles. Use LangChain instead of using the vector database, using in-memory DB, and leverage OpenAI's embedding, and use LangChain to chain the conversation and query the large language model with the context from the similar search, and use LLM model to answer the question. Okay, I'm going to go through the notebook right now. So going back to talk about how the application, the POC structure, one is collecting data. Second is demonstrate the question and answer. So the article is under the posting. There's 4 articles in total from different weeks. It's published every week. You can see the article is very long. You discuss, in this case, this one is talk about the outlook for potential slower growth for May 15. This one is talking about how the Fed is going to change, increase, decrease the rate on the interest rate on the upcoming Federal Open Market Committee discussions. And then we have a simple Python program. This Python program, what it does is you will pass all this text file and then generate a JSON out of it. And the JSON file is called all posting JSON. In this case, you can see it's just by putting all the text together, but for each paragraph with the /n at the end, so that when we send it to building the vector database, we use that as a delimiter for the parsing. So this is the data collection. So we collect from the text file, and then we build a JSON format. This is preparing mainly for the LangChain to understand this, to build a vector database. And here is to build a vector database, do the similar search, and then send it to LLM. First, we define a method. Depends on what LLM we use. There are two types of a large language model. It can be a Databricks using Dolly or using Chat OpenAI. So this is what you need to include in your package. From here, you're using the JSON loader from LangChain. JSON loader, we load all posting JSON. All posting JSON is coming from created by the other program, which will consolidate all the text and then format into the same JSON file. And this is a schema what the JSON file is. And here we're going to load that into a docs. And remember, one of the things I keep talking about, the vector database. Here is creating a splitter. What a splitter does is that you will split based on the default delimiter, which is a /n/n, based on what's in the docs. So we create a splitter. The major chunk is about 1K. So each chunk is a paragraph is longer than 1K. We're trying to split them. And the whole thing would be text. So in that case, we get an array of text return. So I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this first. Define a function, loading it. You see that we do have something that's over than 1,000, one paragraph. So you will be truncated. Oh, actually, you will not be truncated. You will be 2189, which is longer, but you'll be kept. And here we create using a concept of embedding. Embedding, if you're not familiar with it, in short, is to using an existing embedding model, which is already trained by OpenAI. You create a multi-dimensional vector based on the text you enter. And based on the multi-dimensional vector, you can use the cosine to figure out the distance and then come up with the concept of similarity search. This is, we use, instead of using a DB, the Chromo DB, we're using the similarity search from building a vector called dark array in-memory search that's coming from LangChain for POC perspective. And you create a retriever similarity. You want to do the search type is similarity from this vector database. And the LLM model in this case, for the demo purpose, we're using OpenAI. And we're using very important, we need to chain the question and answer together. So that's what LangChain comes in, the conversation retrieval chain. This will help you to collect the first question, the answer of a search together when you ask the second question, so that you have that context for the LLM model to reply. So that's what conversation retrieval chain is used for. Once we have that, we're going to go ahead to start query. So right now at this point, we have all the data collected and we have all the information that in our vector database, and we have to do a similar search. We set up a similar search on the retriever. So when we get a question, we're going to do a similar search on the vector database, retrieve the information out, and then send it out to the LM for questioning. So this is the first one. Will US go into recession year 2023? This is the question. We're going to impact everything to the check history as well. So you're going to see what it does. There's a significant risk of recession starting before the end of the year in spring 2023, but it's not certain. That's what the market strategists say. The economy is a slow motion rather than recession. However, it doesn't take much a a slow motion down to an outright recession. Therefore, investors were well advised of the well-diversified cautious approach in the spring of 2023. All right, let's ask the next question. Will raising the debt ceiling have a negative or positive impact on the chance of recession? Let's see. What does the market strategy set? Based on the given context, the market strategy doesn't give a clear answer of the impact. However, what it says that if the debt ceiling is raised before end of May, the market will largely ignore the physical debate and resume their focus on risk recession. However, if the political posturing prevail, there could be growing nervousness about the Congress passing toward default. Equity market volatility will rise. If the Congress fails to increase, it will lead to major stock market meltdown, a spike in treasury rate, collapsing dollar, and which increase likelihood of near-term recession. All right. With all this answer, what is the best asset class I should increase for 2023? Let's say that for me is most important for 2023. When you talk about asset class, you talk about equity, fixed income, and within equity, you have a large cap, mid cap, small cap. Fixed income, you talk about high yield, treasury, and different muni class. So this article suggests that while there are improved prospects, caution still warrant to potential for recession. It recommends maintain the broad diversification, adopting well-diversified cautious approach for year 2003. It does not recommend any change to increase your asset class. However, it does suggest that fixed income in general should provide both income diversification as a threat of inflation. So if you are investment savvy, this will give you a very good insight on what the market strategy said. It saves you from reading a lot of articles. It also allows you to keep talking to the market strategies. I hope you enjoyed this chatbot, and the code is on GitHub. You can use that as well. There's a README for you to do that as well. How to run it and instruction to run it and what is chatbot about. Enjoy it. Thank you.